Alright, it's a brand new year, which means one more chance to lose faith in humanity. Okay, first off, laws are important. Think of them as the glue of society. They basically keep us civilized and prevent us from running around naked, clubbing each other over the head for food scraps. I mean, look at this guy. Would you want him knocking at your door the Purge style looking for food? But somewhere along the line, we may have gone a little overboard, a bit off track, shall we say, and created some laws that are not only unnecessary, but also some that are actually disturbing that a government would even think of them. But regardless, the following laws I'm about to tell you of actually exist, for better or worse. So let's get right into it. Here are the 10 craziest laws in the world. Part 2. Number 1 is the one-child law in China. First off, obviously, in most developed nations, people are free to get it on and have as many kids as they want. Except when it comes to China. China has had an overpopulation problem for decades. In fact, they're the most populated country on the planet with about 1.4 billion people. Because of this, the Chinese government decided to step into its own citizens' bedrooms and tell them what they can and cannot do, specifically bump uglies. That's right, they literally made a law that says you are only allowed to have one child in China. The one-child policy was enacted in the 1970s and was extremely controversial for obvious reasons. But what they didn't expect is that it had a devastating effect on many people, specifically families that had newborn girls, as many were abandoned or even killed because they wouldn't carry on the family name through marriage. But in the end, they accomplished what they wanted. The Chinese government estimates that upwards of 400 million births were prevented because of this law. And it wasn't until recently in 2015 that the government just started to relax this law and occasionally allowed 2 offspring, mostly because there are now far more males than females in China. China literally created their own sausage party. It must be hard to get a date. Number 2 is the dying bunny law in Ohio. Apparently, so many people in Ohio were dying rabbits that they had to make a law to prevent it. According to Ohio law, no person or company is allowed to dye or otherwise color any rabbit, baby chick, or duckling. Furthermore, no person, firm, or corporation can sell or even give away a colored bunny or baby poultry, even if the dyeing occurred out of state. Okay, so the people in Ohio have an obsession with Easter apparently, so this law was made to protect bunnies and chicks. Okay, I get it. Oh man, wait, there's more. As if this law wasn't already weird enough, lawmakers decided to add in, presumably just because, a clause that says that no poultry younger than 4 weeks can be sold or given away in lots of less than 6. Because why not? No separating them baby chicks from their brethren, you monsters. I have no real idea why this law was created or how those two things I just discussed are related, but Ohio citizens, let's have a little talk for a moment. You may want to get on your lawmakers to do something important, because at the moment it would seem like they need something to do. Hey John, did we get paid this month no matter what? You betcha. Let's make a crazy law. Bunnies? Bunnies. Number 3 is the no crotch grabbing law in Italy. In Italy, people are very superstitious, and one thing that they're superstitious about is the evil eye. The evil eye is basically when someone wishes bad upon you, and that's no good. So, how do you ward it off? Obviously, you grab your junk. Yes, it has been a long-standing tradition that men will grab their nards if a hearse passes by or while discussing serious illness. However, recently the Supreme Court ruled that citizens are to act in accordance with public decency and that everyone must abstain from conduct that is potentially offensive to collectively held feelings or decorum. In other words, stop grabbing your dick. The government feels that you should not be touching that area until you're in the privacy of your own home. And yes, they are enforcing this law. Recently, a 42-year-old man from Como broke this law by shifting his junk in public and was caught by a police officer. So you might be thinking, what did he get? Like a little slap on the wrist? Well, not quite. The man was fined 200 euro in order to pay an additional 1,000 euro in legal costs. Feel free to do the conversion to your own currency, but trust me when I say that's a lot of money just to touch the one-eyed willy. Number 4 is the no cheating law in India. If you live in India and are thinking of cheating on your next exam, don't. Oh, but Matt, what's the worst thing that could happen? I'll tell you. In 1997, a law was passed in India making it super illegal to cheat on any academic test. And I say super illegal because unlike here in North America, where we might, at most get expelled from the institution that we're enrolled in India, cheaters can face up to 10 years behind bars. This law is meant to prevent unfair practices in academic examinations, and believe me, it is strictly upheld. In fact, in June of 2016, 2016, a 17-year-old girl named Ruby Ray ranked first in her state exams, which is great, except that they were skeptical of her, so she was retested, failed, and thus sent to prison. But this really shouldn't be that shocking. India is super tough with their laws. There's another law that says you will face a 5-year prison sentence just for possessing beef, even if it's in the privacy of your own home. So yeah, just something to think about if you feel like slacking on studying or even just have a hankering for steak. Number 5 is the no potato hoarding law in Australia. And the weird train continues. If you live in Western Australia, be careful how many potatoes that you have in your possession because you could literally be breaking the law. In Western Australia, it is illegal to possess more than 50 kilograms of potatoes. Now, before you go thinking that that's a lot, for context, this is a 4.5 kilogram bag. So if you have 11 of these, which could happen, say, if you're throwing a big party or something, you guys will be hanging out and all of a sudden, what's that? Whoop whoop, that's the sound of the police. This antiquated law was a product of regulation for food during the Great Depression and post-war period. They take their spuds so seriously down under that there's literally a potato board that oversees not only the production of potatoes from farmers, but helps lawmakers enforce this law. Oh, but that's just one law. Nope, there are more. Other antiquated laws include a requirement for bars to stable water and feed the horses of their patrons if they have one. I guess a horse wouldn't be drinking and driving. There was another law that required taxi cabs to carry a bale of hay in the trunk, and finally, children are not allowed to purchase cigarettes, but they can smoke them. Number 6 is the no dueling law in Canada. Canada is mostly known for being a peaceful pacifist country that doesn't like conflict, so of course fighting would be outlawed. Except, as a Canadian, I can confidently say that we went a bit too far on this one. According to the Criminal Code of Canada, anyone who challenges or attempts by any means to provoke another person into a duel or even a fight has committed an indictable offense. Yeah, okay, let's first put aside the obvious oddity of the mentioning of dueling, as I don't know anyone that carries around a sword with them. However, fighting of course is still something that occasionally happens, except that those who start a fight in Canada probably aren't aware of the heavy consequence. Literally, just by provoking a fight, like, a little poke, little push, they can be subject to imprisonment for a term of up to 2 full years. Gather around, children, it's law class time. To put that into context, you could grow 500 weed plants for the intent of trafficking illegal marijuana and get 6 months less jail time than for pushing someone. Any questions? Number 7 is the no idiots can vote law in New Mexico. Oh my god. Oh, Matt, resist making a political joke. Resist. Okay, the best thing about a democracy is the freedom that everyone has to vote for anyone or anything. Well, the state of New Mexico decided to do something about that. They decided that idiots cannot vote. Literally. According to the New Mexico Constitution, everyone over 21 who lives in New Mexico can vote, except idiots, insane persons, and persons convicted of a felonious or infamous crime. Now, yes, the word idiot is there, but it should be mentioned that the word idiot back when their constitution was written means something very different than today's definition. Back then, it meant relating to a mental illness or disability, which, now that I think about it, is way worse. In January of 2013, changes to the constitutional language were proposed, but only related to references of him and his to be more gender neutral and equal. In other words, they actively decided to leave the idiots and insane persons part untouched. Ugh, this is what happens when lawmakers spend too much time on Tumblr. Number 8 is the no women driving law in Saudi Arabia. No women can drive? Did we just go back 100 years? No, for real though, this one may or may not shock you, depending on how much you know about Saudi Arabia. First off, it's important to say that although technically there is no specific law banning women from driving, the country is ruled by deeply religious beliefs, one of them being that female drivers undermine social values. In April of 2016, Prince Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud officially stated that Saudi Arabia is just not ready for women drivers. But obviously, not everyone agrees with that. In fact, a 34-year-old woman named Shaima Jestania tried to change the country's beliefs by starting a movement by driving. The result? She was flogged by government officials. And if you think that's bad, women can also not interact with men in any way, compete in any sports, go swimming, or even try on clothes when shopping. But they did just get the right to vote in late 2015, so Progress. Number 9 is the no dirty cars law in Russia. Russia is a very cold country with a lot of snow. Now, being from Canada, I can tell you that snow creates a lot of slush and makes things dirty, especially the cars that drive through it. But that doesn't matter to Russian lawmakers, because in the city of Chelyabinsk, it is actually illegal to drive in a dirty car. The fine for doing so is 2,000 rubles or $62, which doesn't sound so bad, but see, Russian police aren't exactly known for being the kindest people in the world, so you'd best not get pulled over for breaking this law. Wow, Matt, that's a weird law. It doesn't get any weirder. In 2013, Russia made an even worse law that received international criticism. It enacted an anti-gay law which was designed to prevent distribution of non-traditional sexual relationships ideas among minors. They're also proposing a ban on McDonald's, smoking for women under 40, rock music, and treasure hunting. But you know what? I think we should stop here while we're ahead, because this is just... And number 10 is the no buying prostitution law in Sweden. Right now, you might be thinking, well, yeah, Matt, of course prostitution is illegal, duh. Except that it's not. Prostitution is actually legal in Sweden. Huh? Yeah, it's confusing, let me explain. The laws of Sweden are so that selling sex is illegal, but buying it is not. And in the past few years, Iceland and Norway have also adopted this weird and confusing law as well. Okay, logically, I genuinely don't understand this. The government is basically saying the following. Well, we don't encourage prostitution, but we don't discourage it either. You know. Yo, Sweden, you want us to have prostitutes or not, man? Speak up. So, those were the 10 craziest laws in the world, part 2. But I want to know from you guys in the comments, are there any crazy laws around the world that I may have missed? As always, leave a comment below and let me know exactly what they are, in which country they're from, because I want to know just how weird this world gets. And of course, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to subscribe to my channel because I release new videos Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. If you want to watch more, including Crazy Laws Part 1, you can press or click either of the 2 video thumbnails that you see on your screen right now, and don't forget to check out my second channel, link is in the description. Have a great day, don't break any laws. Bye!